Boom. Hey, internet's been a hot minute. So I thought while I had my lights up and everything set up, I would go live for a quick second. Um, Also wanted to do this unboxing with Hemp Zoo. So Hemp Zoo is a company that I've been doing some design work for pretty regularly. So Jason, the founder of the company, good friend of mine that I knew at a previous company, sent me a box of things, some of which I've designed. So I thought that'd be fun to kind of bring it onto the live as I did the unboxing of Circle Clothing probably like 2 weeks ago, and then I dropped that video this week. If you're watching this later, either on Facebook or on my channel, I do go live randomly. So you want to look out for it because you can always ask me questions directly. And I'll always be able to give you guys solutions 24/7 on Clothing Brand Academy, as you guys know, as I plug frequently on this channel, where all my solutions are. Also had a couple Q&A things that I wanted to talk about. Of course, if you join me live here, whether on Facebook or YouTube, please let me know in the comments. One, let me know what city you're from. And then let me know if you have questions. We'll go live. I'll answer some questions live for you guys, should you have any. So I just shot a video, so it'll probably be up within the next month or two, but it's that time of year where we're closing out the school year, and I know this was a really weird school year because of everything that has happened with the pandemic and everything around the world. But here in America, things are beginning to normalize, and it's normalizing faster than in other countries. So I had some young designers who are finishing school. Class of 2021, early congratulations. But the student was asking about advice. And so one question that was asked is, what is the biggest thing that young designers lack? And I think that, I'll meet a lot of designers, especially in college. If your major's in product development, it's everything about the product, fabrication. If you are a graphic design major, so I talked about that. And in fact, someone in the comments had asked further if I would recommend they do a master's in graphic design. So let me not gloss that over. Let me say that what I have told people in the past is, if you're open to it, I would intern at a place that is an apparel company, try to do a lot of different internships. And then I would actually major in graphic design or something with design, whether it's product development, even if it's something online, right? Like user experience, interface, anything that kind of gets sort of more into the coding aspect. I feel like if you're so inspired to be able to do that as a major, you're going to learn a lot of the basic elements of design. And so hence the question about going into like somebody's master's. Now, for a master's in design, I actually, generally speaking, without any more information, I wouldn't do that. I would get some time working first at a few companies. That's what I would do. Generally speaking, I mean, it depends. Everyone has an individual story. So coming back to the main story, which is, if you are a design major, maybe you're majoring in fashion, what is one thing that these kids might be lacking? So just for reference, I used to be a portfolio judge and speak at a lot of different colleges, especially for fashion. And I think it's just the logistical side of things. I think just learning the intricacies of a P&L, like a profit and loss statement, and knowing what production does, and that typically fashion majors will definitely go into product development, but just kind of a brass tacks of what that looks like, because you might get a 30,000-foot view where you're doing case studies of bigger companies, but what does it look like for a small guy, right? So if different challenges, like, if you were to start a company for like $1,000 or $5,000, how would you chop up that budget, right? It's different than preparing your portfolio, your final portfolio for school. It's different than that. So it very much is delving into the entrepreneurial side of what it means to own a business. So notice I didn't say clothing line, because you say clothing line and it's so emotional, and it has everything to do with some of these things that designers would really hold close to their chest. And I get it. I'm a designer all day. I'm the kid that had a black book and would fill it with drawings and sketches of different apparel and stuff like that. So I get it. I definitely understand that. But know that if your end goal is to have your own brand, you're going to be an entrepreneur. You're going to be a business person. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to learn about that side of things. So just one thing that I wanted to bring up. Also, as I was going through some of my comments on some of the YouTube, there was another question I wanted to bring up. Oh, by the way, so with the Circle Clothing video that I dropped this week, quite a few people have told me that is their go-to brand for fleece, so for hoodies and crew. I did get a comment from Crosstown. Shout out to Crosstown. They said, I pointed out how there's a half moon in the back of the hoodies, of the fleece. So they reverse the fabric so that you can print on the fabric, and they put it on the back neck so that you can do a printed neck label. And Crosstown 619 said that is a game changer. So thank you for taking time to shout that out. 808 Black Taro said, can I buy a DTG printer? Old folks home. To cut and sew for me. I'm in Hawaii and need to find a low cost way for shops. Okay. Something about a DTG cutter and doing cut and sew. So DTG printers are direct to garment, as a good number of you will know. And so direct to garment printers, I don't think, I would just say I don't think they have a good reputation as of now in terms of domestic use. You guys saw the episode last week. I dropped 2 episodes with Brendan Argonoff and family of Hoop Swag with 2 G's and Pet Party. He's the founder of both companies. And so although it's not DTG, I kind of put those 2 in the same category. But I just kind of echo the sentiments that he talked about, where it's just not practical at the moment. DTG is good, but at the moment, I don't think it's good for home use. There is a lot of moving parts to it. Literally, the ink is super expensive, and you got to keep the heads of that printer moving, or else that machine is no good. And this is documented. Charles Pangus, go on his channel to talk about and then go search his experience with it. So that's a little bit back. I'd love to have someone come on here and talk about DTG if they're from a company, and see what kind of updates people are making on that front. But I'm sure there's new developments. As of now, I haven't seen anything. I've talked a whole bunch about Supercolor, and you know how I feel about that, of how groundbreaking I think a lot of that work is with my people at Supercolor. So I wouldn't co-sign it unless I thought it was a really good way to start with a bootstrapped, with a small amount of money. Hey, Katrina. Katrina says, how do I balance the creative mindset and the business mindset? I've been overwhelmed with, let me pop it up on the screen actually. Katrina, thank you for chiming in. So with both, I've been overwhelmed with figuring out how to set both sides of the business up. Amazing question. Super good question. So Katrina, here's what I would say. And it goes back to the first thing I was talking about in the beginning of this stream, where a design student just always focuses on the product. They're always focused on the product and design, right? And that's the fun part of it if you're creative. And so the part that really feels like homework and feels like it just feels boring is the numbers part of it, and kind of learning to balance logistics if you're a one person show. Know what I'm saying? But let me focus in more specifically on Katrina's question about balancing the creative mindset and the business mindset. First thing I'm going to say is it's definitely overwhelming. I quote or talk about Gary Vee all the time, but he talks about this in length. And also I would say that Gary Vee is actually not a good example in a way, because he has superhuman ability to hustle and basically not stop working. There's many husbands and wives that would divorce you, I think, if you had the type of hunger that Gary Vaynerchuk did. So in a lot of ways, I think he's such an extreme, right? So I would say for the average person, and the average person on my channel is bootstrapping this, or they have a career or they have an occupation and want this to happen. And so now you're balancing like a job and doing all of these things at the same time. A case study that I talked about 2 weeks ago is one of the brands that I consult with, and he just quit his 6-figure job in finance because the last 3 months, I'm talking about now, so this is like obviously during as we are recovering from COVID, but definitely within the midst of COVID, in the last 3 months, his company did over 70K each month. And so I'm only bringing this up maybe because it's rare. I'm bringing it up because it's rare. And so while I talk to him, he doesn't give himself enough credit, but you don't have time to think about that, I feel like, a lot of the times, because you got to make a lot of decisions quickly. So Katrina, what I would say is make sure you check in with yourself to make sure you're having fun. Winning at the apparel game is so difficult. Before that, I would say if you don't love this, if you don't love it, and I hate using the very cliche like passion for fashion, but if you're not in that category, it's going to be a very tough climb, because there's other businesses that if you did those businesses, the proof of concept comes earlier, and it's a more logistical way, right? There's stop losses in place. Anything that's digital, you're going to be able to see feedback much quicker because you can do a lot of things for free. Know what I'm saying? So before I talk about balance, if you're going to get into apparel, it's going to be a long haul. So you got to be in it. You really got to be in it. And so more practical things is trying to pick and choose where your boundaries are if you have a full-time job and you're doing this, right? Because you can't be 100% at everything. Shoot, even when you're killing it, there's going to be a point where you need to hire someone. Like the aforementioned brand owner, who I will interview on this channel for sure, he's going to have to hire soon. And I'm not sure, we'll talk about it, but I think he might have trust issues, which I do too. It's very difficult. So that's going to be another part of expanding his business, right? Because he's definitely going to hit $1 million. He's definitely going to hit $1 million soon. But before that, when you're working and trying to balance business and creative, definitely figure out where you will pour your time into, and be good with that, right? And then also you got to be nimble. So you have to be able to zoom out to a 30,000 foot view and say, how is this doing? How is this month? How is this drop? How could I have done this drop better? What do I need to improve on? And that's very general. So let me give you something more specific. When I was working at the brand and trying to do my YouTube channel, now that's not a clothing brand, but it's literally running a media company, right? And so instead of looking at it like running a media company, because that was overwhelming, I only chose the things that I wanted to do. So the YouTube channel, at the very least, I was doing 1 video a week, right? And then I didn't do anything on social media to promote the videos, right? But that was where my sanity would lie, because I was doing more than a full-time job as a creative director running a multi-million-dollar brand, right? So while I was talking about it, and that's convenient, you'll notice probably before last year, my Instagram was really barren. I never posted on LinkedIn, my Twitter as well. And so I used it more like a consumer and not like a business owner. And so some of the things that I changed once I decided to triple down on my YouTube channel was to really become more of a media company. So, I started hiring my people in the Philippines who helped me with a number of virtual tasks, including editing. My editing team is in the Philippines. Also putting myself on a plan for content, really getting a good, capturing a good strategy for my content. And so if you don't have time, you don't have to kill it on every single platform, right? Just Instagram, I would say Instagram, and then Facebook, as it's owned by Instagram and all of your e-commerce features are from Facebook. I would be good with Facebook, Instagram. So do what you're comfortable doing in the time allotted, and then check in with yourself a lot to see how everything is going. And then with designers, you should delve more into the business. And if you're and then on the business side, some of those people are going to outsource the design anyway. Typically those people who make it to the next level do fine. Wow, really leaned in on that one, Katrina. I hope that helped. Hope that gave you a good idea. Don't want to go too long on this live stream. So as I mentioned in the beginning, I got a box from my people at Hemp Zoo. Ooh. And I made a banner for it. So I love their product, or else I wouldn't bring it onto the channel. So just know that you can take a look at a lot of their stuff on that site right there. Oh, I'm opening it from the bottom. Jeez. If you're watching this later, please still drop any questions you have. You guys know you can always text me as well. If you make a selfie video of your question, I'll gladly edit it into the YouTube video. Let me move this up so you can see what I'm doing. Took me forever to open the box. So, fun fact, I actually designed that card. I've done a lot of design for Hemp Zoo. So full disclosure, I do think they have good product though. So again, I wouldn't bring it onto the channel. Okay, check this out. We got a camper hat. I crushed the dome, I think. Is this like Instagram or IGTV where it's going to come out backwards? It might. Katrina, yes. Definitely delegate. Definitely delegate. Delegate everything that you can. I should do a video going in depth about virtual assistants for apparel. This is a cool. Is this coming out backwards, you guys? It might be, but this is a cool tag. So this is all renewed. They're calling it renewed, rescued and renewed fabrics in this camper hat. Uh-oh, I know what this is. I actually designed that bandana. We have socks. I wonder what that blend of the sock is. It's actually, obviously there's hemp in it. Fun fact, the very first pair of jeans that were made popular were made from hemp. So think of your early Levi's, think of your railroad workers. Another pair of socks, black colorway. I think I did this Labeling also with the cardboard. Just make sure I didn't miss anything. Stickers. If you order from Hemp Zoo, they're gonna give you stickers. That's awesome. Lanyard, printed lanyard. Hyped on this. And I like if you guys ever used this hat, it's blank on the inside. The one thing I don't like about blank companies with hats is when they have their logo up and down here. Now, the average consumer does not really notice it, but I notice it, because typically otherwise the hat is custom. So the Hemp Zoo, and I'm sure they have other SKUs of hats. Oh, so there's a mask in here. COVID mask. Wow. So these are the fabrication on these are 55% hemp and 45% organic cotton. It also has a label right there. Wanted to show you guys this because I actually did the design on this. So I haven't seen this. This is my first time seeing it. So hemp bandana. And then if I could show you the details in it. Cool. This is interesting. I should probably do a video on it as well. But to do a bandana design, it's basically a repeat of the square. So this bottom portion here, this square is repeated on all four sides. So when you're doing any kind of pattern work, like say you do a woven shirt or a button-down shirt that has a repeat pattern, you would just do it in a tile. We call them tiles. Yeah, it's similar for this, but it's just four corners. So Hemp Zoo, thank you so much. Shout out to Jason Hemp, my guy over there, the founder of it. It'd be fun to do something with the product. I do work with the company quite a bit, so long time coming. He didn't know I was doing this, so I think that'll be a pleasant surprise. Okay, guys, I think I'm gonna close out if there's any more questions. One more question that I went in on a YouTube video, so that'll go up whenever it goes up. But really quick, I wanted to bring it up here just because it's on my mind. But the question was, can I have more than one logo for my brand? The short answer is yes. Of course, you can have more than one logo. If you look at rebranding of not just apparel companies, sportswear companies, soda companies, right? You can Google and see how their brand has changed, transformed, been redesigned, reimagined, reinterpreted over years and decades. So in fashion, of course, it's going to change and move. It's going to be emotional, right? Because it's a fashion brand, right? So it has everything to do with all things creative. So you can totally have more than one logo. So the example I always say is like Nike. So Nike has the swoosh or the check. That's an iconic logo. The Nike is a word mark. So you can have the word mark, Nike, and you can have the swoosh. And everyone knows what those are. You could put them both together where it's a stacked logo. It's a system, right? It's two logos, the two logos put together. So there's an infinite amount of things that you can do. And you can even use something frequently and not have it be a trademark registered logo. You can do that later. There's a number of companies that have done that in fashion. It could be something that you use in your graphics and you just like it so much you pull it over into your label and trim package, your zipper pulls, the inside linings of things. There's a million things you could do, but no, you do not have to stick with one logo. But for all my bootstrap people, I would just trademark like one. So you have that on the map, and then I would I would protect your logos later, but you'll have tons of proof of using it in commerce if you have it on different garments and stuff like that. Definitely should do an entire episode on just trademarking. I am gonna bring. There's a couple people. I'm gonna bring my lawyer who does all my apparel contracts. So maybe we could talk about trademarks and apparel contracts that I've done with him. And then, he has so many stories. I don't know what he can really share, but he has some good stories. And then there's a couple attorneys who've reached out to me who like specialize in trademark. So I'd love to pub them too, and let you guys see what because they're going to see a lot of different interesting instances for protecting your brand, right? And so those are going to be good stories. And I'm always a big fan of sharing that out as well. Beals, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Yeah. So Katrina was just chiming in on that. Definitely, I will put that. There's so much content that I'm putting together. Beals, shout out. Thank you. Appreciate you. Great, guys. I'm probably going to go live on my Instagram. So I'll do an IGTV this weekend. There's a couple more things I want to talk about. I'm waiting for certain things to finalize. So I'm gonna bounce right now because I need to shoot a couple of YouTubes, and it's already 8:06 here in Los Angeles. So I'm going to close it out here, guys. Thank you so much. If you have more questions or if you watch this later, same ways that you get at me, you can drop a message here below or a question here below. I will get that as well. You can always text me here at this number, and that just means you're gonna get my iPhone directly. And I always respond to those very quickly as well. Have a great night, you guys. We are really moving quickly outside of the danger zone for everything that's happened since 2020. I'm sending you guys good vibes, blessings, and love. Let's get through it safely, and I'm looking forward to seeing some people this summer. Have a great night, you guys.